This is the Film Fraternity Podcast, a show that's all about filmmaking in college, so you can turn your student projects into powerful portfolios. And now, here's the host of Film Frat House, Zach Sabo.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Film Frat Podcast. This is Geek Week, episode 1, but we're not going to number all these episodes. Welcome back, and joining me, as always, for Geek Week is my partner in crime, Mr. Grant Cook. How are you, Grant?
Oh. How's it going?
Good, good. You, how's life been?
Can't complain. Just trying to prepare for my filmmaking in March and trying to do some real estate classes, and that's pretty much it.
Sweet.
And just got done watching Mandalorian a week ago, and I'm like, oh, I can't believe they ended it that way.
Right?
It makes me want to watch the next season.
I'm trying to think of whether or not we should add spoilers to this podcast or not, because at this point, I'm pretty sure people who are interested in The Mandalorian have already seen it.
Right.
So, but man, I agree with you. Yeah, I didn't expect that at all. It was kind of a Rogue One moment. Or like at the very end, it's like CG, right? But like, it could be better, but not bad for TV, right? You know,
it has that parallel. It has that parallel with Vader and Rogue One and Luke and there you go, I just said it. And Luke and saying like father, like son.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I just finished watching The Mandalorian too a couple weeks ago, and loved it. I love, that's probably like one of my favorite things that came out of Disney from Star Wars. Like since they acquired Lucasfilm, I feel like the number one thing that they made was Rogue One, and the number 2 was The Mandalorian. It was that good. It was that good. Oh, and by the way, since our last episode, which if you haven't listened to this already, guys, it was the holiday special, I called it. The holiday special episode at the I think it was the beginning of December. So if you haven't listened to that, go ahead and watch that. We geek out a lot on Christmas movies. But since that episode, I just remembered that term that I was looking for called the uncanny valley. That's the term I was looking for. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, I've heard it a couple times.
Yeah. So that was what I was thinking of when referring to things like the Polar Express, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about that, where it's like, it's trying to be real. It's trying to be like realistic, but it's also not. It's like in this weird in between. That's the uncanny valley. And that's kind of how I feel with Leia at the end of Rogue One, and the you-know-what at the end of The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
It was that uncanny valley. It's like, okay, I want to relate to you, but you're not quite human, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that was interesting to me.
And actually, it was, because they got Mark Hamill to do the voice, but I'm pretty sure they got him to do something else with that role too. I know someone was the stunt man for the sword play, but I know that they put him in for something else. Maybe it was actually the ending scene, and they just made him look younger. It's impressive what CGI can do to your face now.
That's interesting. Yeah. I feel like I've heard of this technology being used in another film. It was Martin Scorsese's latest film, The Irishman, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
They used de-aging like technology for that, and that blew me away. I haven't seen The Irishman yet, but man, I heard that was really groundbreaking tech.
It is a must-watch film. It is for a Netflix original. Really good.
Oh, it's a Netflix original. Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's definitely going to give some points to Netflix in today's debate, which, if you guys haven't already seen, the title of this podcast is basically, I have to name it, but it's definitely going to be related to something like the great streaming debate of 2021. So in this episode, Grant and I are going to be debating about which streaming services we like the most and which one we like the least. If we do get into that. So I created a top 5. I don't know about you, but I came prepared with a top 5 list. So yeah, I'm excited. But first, I want to get to an industry update. I have 1 point on the industry update. Speaking of Netflix, I don't know if you heard about this, but the camera that we were talking about last episode, the FX6 by Sony, it just made the Netflix approved camera list. Believe it or not, which is crazy because I think this is officially the most inexpensive camera to ever make the Netflix approved camera list. So filmmakers, if you want to make content for Netflix, this is the camera to get for the price. I mean, you can't beat it.
No kidding.
It's like $6,000, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but all the features that we talked about, it's like, I think they utilize the Sony Cine Alta camera color science, which is like their cinema line color science quality. So what you get out of it is really awesome. Definitely my wish list cinema camera. Speaking of gear, actually, hold on. If you're watching the video version of this podcast, I finally picked up the Mavic 2 Pro, or Mavic Air 2, sorry. The Mavic Air 2 has arrived, and I'm so excited. Thanks. So excited to test fly it next weekend. I'm actually waiting on some ND filters to arrive on Monday. I should have probably thought of that sooner because like I forgot to add it to my package. So I just like, oh, okay, I'll throw in some Polar Pro ND filters. It's fine. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I got for Christmas. Remind me, what did you get yourself for Christmas?
I got myself the wireless Go. All right. And for those people who are going to be recording interviews or anything related to sound, that is a good way to go because it's wireless. Right. That's the best part. It's all wireless. You just got to plug in to your camera and then plug into the little mics that you can get for a cheap price, and you're all set. And it would be, it's actually good for, you can just get the box itself, put it behind some clothes, and you can still record, and it sounds pretty good.
Yeah. And
totally. You can use it for a regular filmmaker. Use it for regular filmmaking. So that's good.
It has an onboard mic. Yeah.
I also got myself an ND filter that you can adjust.
Nice.
Which is really good, especially if you live out in the desert or somewhere that has a lot of sun. Right.
Yeah. What thread did you get? Is it for your Sony camera?
Yes, the Sony camera.
Nice.
It does come in handy.
Which lens is it for? Is it like your 24-70 kind of zoom lens, or is it a prime lens? Like,
it is the prime lens, and that was for the I think it was for the wide lens.
Okay. So your thread must have been pretty big.
Yeah.
Especially for a full frame camera, you're gonna pay more for a wider lens thread for your ND filter. Yeah, I actually have one ND filter that I can't use right now because I don't have a camera, but it's the biggest thread you can get. It's the 82. So yeah, my go-to lens once I do get a camera would be the Sigma 24-70. And that does have the 82 thread on it. So I'm thinking about it, but first I need to save up some more money because I just dropped a lot of money on that drone. So anywho, do you have any industry news? Any updates? Do any research on anything?
Not at the moment right now, no. Okay. Just really been going over podcasts from American Cinematography Association, which is a great podcast to look at as well if you got and anyone's interested. I still recommend this one.
Yeah, you better not leave out this podcast, right? Out of all the filmmaking podcasts that you're. Anyway, yeah, I got to listen to that. You definitely suggested that to me before, but it sounds pretty cool because I like the ASC, the American Society of Cinematographers. I actually stopped by their booth at NAB in 2019, and so I have like a little photo of me by the ASC booth. There was nobody there. sadly. But anyway, hopefully NAB is going to happen this year. If not, hopefully next year. So we'll see. I think NAB this year has been pushed back to like in the fall. So we do have a chance now that the vaccine's out. The vaccine is out. So now that people are getting vaccinated, hopefully we can get conventions back up and running pretty soon.
Oh, yes. Then you and me, we're going out. We're going to Vegas.
We're going. Yeah. It's funny because Vegas is like our middle point, like where we can meet. Honestly, like I used to be like way up north and it would take probably like 10 hours to get to Vegas. But yeah, for you, it's probably like what, 4.5 hours from LA?
Yeah, about. To LA?
Yeah, from LA to Vegas. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought that's about like maybe 5.5, maybe.
Okay. So it's the same for me. Actually, no, for me, it's a little bit shorter. From Phoenix to Vegas, it's like 4 hours, which is cool. Yeah. Anyway, that's a place we'll definitely meet up at and
definitely.
It's the coolest convention I've ever been to. The other one I want to go to is Infocom, which is not really as oriented towards filmmakers, but more for the audio-visual industry. So, for people who are interested in putting on like lighting and video cameras for like live events and stuff, that's the convention to go to. And same thing for like commercial installation and stuff, which I actually have to do for my job. I have to like engineer systems for audiovisual stuff. So Infocom is like my next one to go to. Oh, and you went to one, right? In Hollywood for filmmaking gear. What was that called? Man.
Filmmaking gear.
Or no, you actually stopped by the ASC headquarters, didn't you?
Yeah. And I got a great opportunity to meet a lot of famous people, and one of which was Roger Deakins.
Yeah. Oh man.
Now, actually, that's I don't know if you heard the news, but he's being knighted.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's industry news. There you go.
He was being knighted, and as the world's greatest cinematographer, and I'm like, wow, that's what an amazing news report right there. That's like, congrats, Roger Deakins. That's bravo.
That's like the lifetime achievements of lifetime achievements right there, is getting knighted as like the greatest cinematographer of all time.
Yeah.
Which is crazy you got to actually see him in person, so lucky you. NAB is a cool place, by the way, to see some of your favorite people. Especially YouTubers. I got to see one of my favorite YouTubers, Ryan Connolly from Film Riot. Yeah, I actually took a picture with him, and I talked to him and told him what my favorite episode was, the Blade Runner episode, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that was all Josh." And I'm like, he's great. So yeah, it was fun. Some other guys were there. I think Gerald Undone was there. He does like gear reviews and stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if Potato Jet was there too.
He's a good YouTuber as well. He's good. He has a lot of amazing equipment. He loves to show on his present on the show.
Yeah, you actually introduced me to him. You were the first guy who told me about Potato Jet, and like ever since I've been keeping up with his stuff. So thanks for that.
He's doing pretty good.
Yeah, he's definitely good. I like his giveaways, which, by the way, if you haven't checked out his video, at the end of most of his videos, he does like a giveaway if you like comment on the video, which is very smart.
It is.
Because it drives the YouTube algorithm. But yeah, anyway, don't want to get too far into this, but I did want to give you an update on another thing we talked about last episode, which was the Christmas Carol. A Christmas Carol by Robert, what's the director's name? Can he help me out here? Why can't I think? Robert Zemeckis.
Yes.
Anyway, I liked it. I watched it. It was a really, really charming film. I really like Jim Carrey in that movie. I couldn't help but laugh in some parts because I knew it was Jim Carrey behind that face. But yeah, even when he was being serious, I just couldn't help but laugh. But yeah, it was really nice. It was really well put together. Again, kind of that uncanny valley thing going on, but it wasn't as bad. It wasn't as bad as the Polar Express. I feel like it was a more relatable film. Like I was really connected to the characters. So, but Christmas is over. So, I do want to say a couple of movies I did watch besides A Christmas Carol, if you wouldn't mind me saying. One was a documentary. Have you seen this? It's called Free Solo. Free Solo is on Disney Plus now.
Okay.
It's a documentary about a climber who's from actually my hometown of Sacramento. And funny enough, he actually went to an IB school in high school, just like me. So I was like totally hooked from the start because I'm like, okay, I relate to you in that. I relate to you in that. Okay, that's awesome. What's next? So what he does is basically is the first person to climb Yosemite's, what's it called? The mountain in Yosemite. I need to look that up. But he was the first person to actually free climb it. So it's insane. Like no cables or anything attached. He like hand climbed all the way up by himself. It's an incredible story. And the stuff that leads up to that actual event happening in the film is phenomenal. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. It's really inspiring. Basically, it goes to show that you can do anything in life, no matter how daunting the task may seem, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's called El Capitan. Yeah, El Capitan in Yosemite. It's an incredible mountain. If you haven't seen it, it's very picturesque. But yeah, it's one of the most difficult climbs in the world. And he pulled it off like fairly recently, like 2015, 2016-ish. Yeah, it's really awesome. And another film I watched in the theater on New Year's Eve actually was Monster Hunter.
Oh.
Yeah, you've heard about that, huh?
Yes, I've heard of it.
Yeah, honestly, story was lacking, but the costume design and the graphics were top notch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a good ride. If you like the games, you probably won't be very pleased by the fan service. There really isn't any. And the story is kind of cheesy, but yeah, so that's Monster Hunter I watched recently. So, did you watch any movies?
There was one movie on Netflix that I was watching with a friend. It's Swedish actually, and it was called Fires, something like that. It's about it's FIERCE Fires, but the idea it was about a female teenager who has had issues with her father that left them, and now she wants to become a senior just to prove him wrong. And it has a heartwarming ending, but it just the rest of it felt really depressing. It was like it's like imagine watching Queen but more depressing.
Oh, okay. I guess that's not the film for me then. I don't know.
It's not. But it's interesting when you look at those kinds of films. I mean, if you think about it, a lot of films going on at the time are a sorry about that. They are about famous celebrities who were at the bottom and up to the top, and then they went to drugs, or they did like some kind of crime, and then it's kind of went downhill for them. So
gotcha.
It's unfortunate that it's like that, but then they go back up and saying that it don't get too into it, or else into like the business, or it'll consume you kind of.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Where did you watch it? Is it available?
Netflix.
Okay. Good to know. All right. I'll make note of that film. And speaking of Netflix and streaming services, it's time to move on to our great debate of which streaming service will reign supreme in our tier lists, which I don't know if you have a tier list, but I do. Yeah, so this is an interesting topic because streaming services have just skyrocketed since the pandemic began. People have just been watching so much streaming now, like more than ever. It's crazy. Of course,
Yeah,
now that the cinema has declined like crazy, Regal had to file for freaking bankruptcy or something. I think
yeah.
they might be actually completely out of business. Someone else is trying to help revive them, but
Mm,
thankfully AMC is still around, but they've lost a lot of business too. So,
yeah. I mean, to be honest, it is bad for the movie theater industry. But I don't believe they're not going to go away. They're just going to lose a lot of money from it.
yeah.
And because they're once the pandemic is died out, they're going to be more. There's going to be more um, people wanting to go out to go see a movie, and less people wanting to do streaming at that point because everyone's out. They're like,
Yeah.
finally, we can get out and do stuff. So we're going to take take the opportunity to go out and do other things like the park, the beach, travel, or even the movie theater.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly why I went out because I was having withdrawals of the cinema. Like I wanted to go back so much. So I'm like, okay, what movie is playing now that I actually wouldn't mind seeing? So Monster Hunter was playing, and I'm a fan of the series. So yeah,
Mm.
that's a good reason why. Can't remember the last film I saw in the theater though. It may have been The Rise of Skywalker, actually, believe it or not. But yeah, that was a long time ago. Now that I
Yeah,
think
it
about
felt
it.
like it was like 2 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? No, I did actually go to the movie theater since that. I think I went to see Weathering with You, which is an anime film made by the same director who made Your Name, which is Your Name is, for people who don't know, is the highest grossing. I think it was actually the highest grossing film in Japan when it came out in 2016, 2017.
Wow.
So it was just a very, very big phenomenon that just spread worldwide. And so this director got pretty famous after that. So hence why I went to see the movie with my roommate at the time. So yeah, that was good. But yeah, it's time to go back to the cinema more and more, I think, as we start to reopen, right? So
Exactly.
yeah. I want.
Um,
Go ahead. What are you going to say?
so because we're talking about streaming services, um, it's interesting how if if you think about it, it's all spread out. So it's not like everything's all together. There's going to be like Disney is separate. All those most Disney films that you really want to watch, it's all going to be on that. And now they got The Simpsons and Star Wars. It's like
Yeah.
most people are going to be watching going to Disney Plus and be like, okay, I want to watch some Simpsons or just an old classic Disney film where Netflix. I feel like that really took a bite out of Netflix, and now they're really like they're a bit. I mean, they're still making some good originals like Queen's Gambit, or like you said, like we just said, The Irishman.
Right.
But they're I think it's their or even Stranger Things 4. They're coming out with that.
I was gonna say Stranger Things is what I actually started watching like last year.
Oh
I
yeah.
only went through season one. I gotta watch the rest, but I actually enjoyed that a lot, which makes me want to go back to Netflix pretty soon. But
Yeah.
because I don't have Netflix currently, so what I do have is Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus because of the bundle that they
Yeah.
have, the $12.99 bundle, which is pretty awesome actually. Gives you a lot of content. So I have those. And then I'm trying to think. I don't have Amazon. Yeah, that's it. Actually, those are the three for me.
I think Amazon will be on the bottom of my list because I there's only been like two or three. One was a show, and the other two were films. One of them's the Gifted, or
Hmm.
oh, I don't know if it was Gifted or it was about like the cover has the kid with an astronaut helmet on.
Hmm.
But that, if I remember the name, but that was a good film. I think it was Gifted maybe, but something like
Mm-hmm.
that. But it's a heartwarming film. It really, what they do is they go from character to character, kind of like they each have a chapter,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really cool how they do it.
Huh.
So it's I personally get teary eyed over that film, unfortunately, but it's really good. But this is a good example, a great example of character development in this film.
Hmm.
And then the other film I liked was I think it's called Aeronauts.
Hmm.
I
I
think
don't think
that's what
I've
it's
heard
called.
of that. Huh.
It's where there's a female character who wants. It was a female character and a male character, like a side character, who wants to go into a balloon to go to the highest points to get to space to see if how far they can go. And again, great. That's a good story. Great character development. The cinematography is amazing. Um, it has a lot of they got like they use soft lighting in that one,
That's
and
always nice.
they got I think they used the green screen for the scene, the balloon scene. They don't, and kind of like put like it was like fake ice. They put like tried to spray paint the balloon fake with fake snow,
Hmm.
and then try to get some ice going down on them a little bit because they're falling off and away, and it gets colder the higher they get,
Ah, I
the
see.
atmosphere.
Huh.
And then and then when there was a show on Prime that was it was about like Adam and Eve. It was like there's an angel and the devil, and then it takes place in modern time. It first starts out with Adam and Eve saying how they were alive. Those angels and the angel and demon were alive since then, and then they became best friends in a way, and
Huh.
they kind of see the silver lining between, like, because the angel can do some simple things, and the demon can do angel things, the good things,
What was that?
which was interesting. I'm like, huh. I thought it was, and I like the character development in that one. It was just a short show. I don't know if they come out with another season, but I hope they do. It's really good.
Huh.
Um,
Wait, what was that called again? That show? Do you remember?
like, um,
It's on Prime, you said, right?
it is on
Amazon.
Prime. It's
Okay.
like a what is it?
I was just looking through Prime right now, because
Angel. It's like the angels and demons, not angels and demons. Like something like Adam and Eve or something like that.
mm,
It's it's a good show. It's British.
interesting.
It's,
Okay, might have to look that
uh,
up because I used to have Prime. I might actually get back on Prime depending on what kinds of shows they have. One show that I was really into for a while when I did have Prime was The Expanse, because I like my sci-fi. I like my sci-fi, so The Expanse was a really good show. Really
oh,
delves
yeah.
into some politics and economy, and like what we can imagine as this actual potential civilization in space, which is actually based off of like reality in a way. Because it's
Mm,
like, what if humans colonize Mars? So this is what the the conflict situation would be like between the colonists and the people on Earth, but also these outsiders that are like living in the asteroid belt. So like it's this
yeah.
very it kind of goes between these three groups, and delves into their politics and like what drives their economy. It's just
Mm.
a really interesting concept, and the graphics are good too. Like surprisingly for a TV show, their ship designs and colony designs are actually really awesome. So
It reminds me of actually of Trujillo's films that he showed us in UCSD. It was sort of like that same concept of if there was a society on Mars and there's Earth, they're gonna have that civil war kind of deal. These arguments saying no, get out of here. This is war. This is Mars. We're Martians now. Get out. Like you shouldn't be treating us this way. We're supposed to be independent.
Right. Yeah.
And there is actually another. Oh, it doesn't go in depth with it, but there's another film that's it's also a sci-fi film that takes place about this guy who travels from Earth to like some other part of space to find his father. I can't remember what the film's called, but it was recent. And then he had a good stop at Mars, which is cool. And the artwork is amazing. The atmosphere of Mars and just seeing the dust storms and the stars in the sky. It's incredible. And the design of the spaceships, like you said.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned Trujillo because he actually definitely used that exact series as an example in class, which is why I thought of it. But if you haven't listened to that episode, by the way, guys, I actually did interview Mr. Michael Trujillo about sci-fi and fantasy. So you can go ahead and see that episode. I do have a video version of that on YouTube that's coming up very soon. It'll probably be released by now, so you can go ahead and watch that. That'll be public. Anyway, super excited about the video versions. If you haven't already noticed, I like the video podcasts. They're just a lot more engaging for people, I think. I do want to continue this conversation, though. Can you actually go into your top 3 or 5, if you wouldn't mind giving me like a little bit of an idea of what your favorite streaming services are and why?
So at this point, I feel like Disney Plus is my top favorite, and then Netflix is next because they still give you a variety of films to look at, especially the fact they give you original Netflix originals, like we just pointed out earlier, is good. And then Amazon and Hulu. I never had Hulu before, so I'm not too sure of what they have exactly. But I guess Hulu would be like at the bottom, and HBO would also like those are unknown to me. I've never used those as much, and I'm pretty sure I should, but because there's some good stuff to it. But I think Disney Plus has more to offer, and I guess I'm a sucker for Disney films. I love it, and plus WandaVision is on there, and all the classic Disney films, and Mandalorian's on the service, and Star Wars. Like, oh man, can't get enough of it.
Yeah.
But, and then again, Netflix, like Naruto. Naruto is on Netflix, which is a great anime. I definitely recommend it to anyone who is interested in anime.
Right.
And just those, and then Amazon would just be if I decide to go on, like it has its own services, but then for Prime and the video, like movies and films they have, those are more like just a bonus kind of.
Yeah.
So
I agree
Plus,
with you for the most part.
Netflix,
Yeah.
and Amazon.
Okay. It's a fair list. I totally agree with you on Disney Plus. I use it quite often because I'm a Star Wars geek. I'm trying to catch up on all of the Clone Wars that I missed out on. So I'm getting towards the end of season 2, so I have a long way to go. But yeah, I love their selection. Disney never really disappoints that much. On occasion they do, but with Star Wars and The Mandalorian, I have no complaints, honestly. So I really love that. And I just actually checked today. They just added Isle of Dogs, the film,
Really?
which I was really surprised about because I wanted to see that movie for a while and I never got to, but now it's on Disney Plus. So I'm going to go and watch that.
That is,
yeah.
what is it? Roger D? No, it's,
Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson, yes, Wes Anderson. What an amazing filmmaker he is. His cinematography style the center shot is amazing. That's tradition. Like any film you watch, he's gonna do that. Like at this point, that's his style. And and Isle of Dogs is no exception. It's a really good film, and I love this. And the story it's straightforward, but I love the characters. The dogs are great. If you're a dog fan, great. If you're a cat fan, they still admire cats too in that film.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, I want to see that. Yeah.
It's oh, I know I'm pretty sure I'm wrong with this, but I think George Clooney is the main actor.
Really?
Main voice actor, I think.
What? I am looking that up right now. That's pretty funny, actually.
Maybe I'm wrong, and it's he sounds like George Clooney, but I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh, you could be right. Hold on. Who's Ed Norton's in it? Let's see. Actually no, the main guy apparently is voiced by Bryan Cranston.
Okay.
Then Koyu Rankin, then Ed Norton. Yeah.
Okay, but it does sound like George Clooney. When you watch it, you'll sort of understand what I mean by that. He does a bit.
Wait, there's people in this movie that I had no idea were in it. Oh, that's so funny. So Jeff Goldblum's in it.
Yes.
Voicing. Bill Murray is voicing somebody. Greta Gerwig is voicing someone, which is funny. Greta Gerwig, the director of Lady Bird and the most recent, I can't remember the most recent one she did. And then Scarlett Johansson's in it. So man,
of course.
Wow. Okay.
Of course, she's a great actress. Scarlett Johansson.
Oh yeah, for sure. One film. I want to get off topic just for this one because I'm an anime guy and I'm gonna mention anime a little bit later. I know you mentioned Naruto. I haven't seen Naruto. I'm sorry, but I know. I'm sorry. Forgive me. One of the main reasons why I haven't started is because I just see like hundreds of episodes and it kind of intimidates me because I'm a completionist and I'm afraid I'm just going to get caught up watching Naruto for the rest of my life until I catch up. But anyway, I do want to say, where was I going to go with that? Anime. Scarlett Johansson. Right. Yeah. Okay. Ghost in the Shell. Have you seen Ghost in the Shell?
Oh, I really, really, really want to watch the anime. There's a huge debate over that. Some people, there's people who say it sucks because the film sucks because it's not like the animated version.
Yep, exactly what I was gonna get at. Yep.
Yeah, it's and I could definitely see. For me personally, it's like watching it's like reading the films and then reading the book. You know what I mean? It's like you watch the adaptation of it and then you watch the original and then you're like, okay, unless you did the other way, then you're pissed off about it.
Yeah.
And it makes sense in that case. And I hope that I'm pretty sure I'm going to make the time to go and watch Ghost in the Shell, the animated version.
To be fair, I haven't actually seen it either, so maybe we should watch it together. But yeah, I watched the live action at least with Scarlett Johansson, and I thought it was okay. But the story, even as a standalone film, like not having watched the anime, I feel like the story was a little bit confusing, lacking.
Yeah.
And I mean, the stunts were okay, the graphics were okay, so that's what I liked about it. But I don't know about the story, so I do want to get to my tier list though, if you wouldn't mind. I have 5 streaming services on my list with 3 honorable mentions, because there's so many services out there. I just couldn't help but put more on there, just to spread awareness, I guess. Number 5, I'm going to start from the bottom. Number 5 is kind of what I agreed on you with. It's Hulu. Hulu's at the bottom for me, and I'm somebody who actually watches Hulu. I use it on a semi-regular basis, but only for a seldom 2 or 3 shows, maybe a couple of movies. The thing with Hulu is that they're great for TV as far as like the mainstream shows you can watch.
Yeah.
The mainstream network shows are on Hulu, with ads, mind you, with the cheapest plan. You can upgrade, with Hulu with live TV, but that's pretty expensive. So I just stick with the ads. So that's one major downside is ads. Number two is that a lot of the mainstream shows aren't that good. So the only couple shows I really watch are like Shark Tank. I like watching Shark Tank. Yes. So that's on Hulu. That's really good.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is True TV on that? On Hulu?
I don't think so.
Because I was going to mention Impractical Jokers, but I don't know if they're on Hulu.
I don't think so. I've heard of that show, but nah. One of my old friends watched Impractical Jokers. I watched a few episodes back in the day. It was definitely funny. It was definitely great.
If you have a bad day, just watch that.
For sure.
That'll make you laugh.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't think that's on Hulu, sadly, but I gotta figure that out. Maybe that's a homework assignment for us. So it's pretty good for TV actually. You can find some good shows. You can find a lot of cooking shows, a lot of home improvement shows are definitely on there. I like Flip or Flop if I had to choose one show. I like that one. I used to watch Property Brothers a while back. It's pretty good. But as far as like movies and other more interesting like exclusives, there aren't really that great exclusives on Hulu. You can't really find much. So I did watch one exclusive sci-fi show on Hulu. I can't remember what it's called, but it features Josh Hutcherson in it. That's weird. I can't remember. Anyway, thought it was kind of trash, so I just kind of skipped out on it. So yeah, Hulu's okay. They have some decent movies every now and then, but it's at the bottom for me. Next up, number 4 is Netflix, and you'll see why. I don't have Netflix, but I feel like in the past couple of years, especially this last year, their quality has kind of declined a little bit steadily. They appear to be more concerned with pumping out more content rather than quality content.
Exactly. It's just like, it's unfortunate that it's like that. I mean, of course they do that obviously to like say, okay, based off these 5, if we can get one good one, then we're just going to forget the other ones and then pay attention to that one.
Yeah.
And put the most effort into that. Just say, okay, forget it. They're done with that. Those ones, let's go to that one.
Yeah.
And it makes sense that way, but then at the same time, you're kind of losing the juice, or just the effect, or just the effort, the magic that goes into the shows. I mean, now they're just trying to do it just for the views.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. You nailed it. Yeah, it's all about getting more eyes. I don't know. It's kind of artificial in my opinion. Some of the movies they have are good. Like you said, the exclusives. There are some exclusives that are really good. Stranger Things was good. Irishman. I heard Irishman was good. And there are some other ones for anime fans. You got Violet Evergarden. That's on there.
Yes.
And you got one of the there's a couple others. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Wolfstar.
Okay.
No, Beastar. It's called Beastar.
Beastars. Yep.
Yeah, I never had a huge taste in that kind of animation, but then after that, I'm like, okay, it's okay. I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, I have to give that a shot if I do come back to Netflix, which I might. There are a couple of live action TV shows. Since I'm big into anime and Japanese content, I was a pretty big watcher of Terrace House.
I've heard about that one.
I haven't finished, but I was binging that during my senior year of UCSD. So yeah, it was good. It was a good ride. I enjoyed it. And there's some other shows on there that were pretty good. It's good for TV, decent for movies. I wouldn't say it's the best for movies, but it's decent. They got a good selection. So it's number 4. You'll see why. And it's because of price, I think.
Yes.
It's because of price. Yeah. And number 3 is Amazon for me. Because of the price that you pay. Decent exclusives, decent selection for good price. Great price. Because if you're already paying for Prime for shipping, you basically get the movies for free. I mean, you can't complain. And
that's true.
Another good big plus for Amazon is you find a lot more independent content. I don't know if you noticed, but people can submit their own films for Amazon.
That's true.
By themselves. And so as a result, you find a lot more independent productions on there.
Mm.
And actually good ones. Like you find actually a lot of film festival content being posted on Amazon, like stuff from Tribeca. Like,
Yes.
I watched some of that and I was impressed. Like, okay, I'm paying how much for this and I'm getting all this content? It's great.
It makes sense. It just after you sent it to a film festival and it's gotten praise, you want to send it to like places like Amazon Prime. They'll like if it's good, they'll definitely put it on, and you can stream and you get more views that way, and you get more attention. Plus, you can make another film based off that. Makes sense.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great platform. I still love Amazon. So, a couple of shows I watched from Amazon when I had it were Jack Ryan, which kind of is meh. I kind of dropped that show, but it was okay. And then I watched The Expanse, like we mentioned before. So, yeah. Number 2 is Disney Plus. Disney Plus, I agree with you 100%. It's fantastic. Mandalorian. I love dogs now. All the Star Wars stuff is great. All of the classic animated films are just fantastic. Loved Beauty and the Beast growing up. I can rewatch that. I used to watch the Aristocats growing up.
Yes.
Underrated film. Underrated
film.
All your classics are on there. So, I mean, if you really love Disney, it's your go-to. And a lot of people do. So, Frozen, as of late. Frozen, Moana, which is all right. Frozen was good. Moana was less good.
Hey, I beg to differ. I like Maui.
Okay. Oh, okay. I guess so do I. Okay. He's an exception.
The Rock was awesome in that. He was a good singer in that.
He stole the show with "You're welcome." You're welcome. That's so good. Yeah, so much good stuff on Disney Plus. Oh, one other movie I actually watched last month, besides A Christmas Carol, which was on Disney Plus, and Free Solo was on Disney Plus. So that makes 2. But number 3 was Big Hero 6. Oh, I watched that movie just a couple weeks ago, and it was awesome. I love that movie, and I recommend it to everyone. It's such a good movie. It's really inspiring and really good animation. Funny in all the right places. So it's hard to do. So really
Actually,
well done.
You know what? There is a service that we forgot about.
What's that?
YouTube.
Oh!
YouTube.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Oh.
That is actually a big service that if it's free, that's the big thing. It's free. And a lot of people who are fans of anything, they can make their own fan films and post it out there. And like for example, Star Wars Theory, it's called Vader. And it's a short fan film of Star Wars, which takes place during after Order 66.
Okay.
And for people who don't know what we're saying, that means after the third prequel and before the original Star Wars film.
Right.
And his interpretation of Star Wars was incredible. And that was YouTube. This is YouTube, guys. You don't need to be in big shots services just to do a film like that. That's the best thing about it. And the fact that there's so many channels out there that people can look at, like you were saying, to watch flipping houses. Like, look at that. We were just like a lot of things. It's like so much open to you that has got to be the top above all.
Yeah.
I mean, you won't be able to go watch Disney films, but you can see clips and just see how creative people can become and what people do in the day-to-day life. It's a really good accessible service to the people.
Yeah. Oh man, You put the bug in my head. I really wish I thought of that sooner. I was thinking in the context of paid services, right? So like, oh man. Okay, if you count YouTube in the mix though, that would be my number one.
Yeah.
For sure, hands down. I mean, it's free, obviously, but there's so much content. I watch a lot of the instructional content, like you said, like how to flip houses, like people actually giving their own accounts of like how do you do things, or this is my review of this product, right? Potato Jet, like we said, does that.
Yeah, exactly. So, it spreads, it goes to everyone, and not just filmmakers or flipping houses people. It's also like for cooking, for politics, sports, travel, everything. It's great for it. It's like you can watch shows about Gordon Ramsay. You can see his travels and cooking stuff, but it's I think it's the really good. I think it's the best service. I think you can't watch. I mean, you could pay
for YouTube TV.
Yeah, you can pay for YouTube TV or pay for your films you want to watch. But really, I mean, you can rent the films, and it's a cheap price for one day, but still. And so.
Yeah, if you add YouTube in there, it would be my number one for sure.
Yeah.
But I think this is definitely the paid context here. So if I had to count YouTube, it'd probably be YouTube TV, just for the sake of this podcast. And honestly, YouTube TV is probably lower than Hulu for me for the price.
I mean, really, I don't think people are willing to. It's supposed to be a free service, and I don't think people are willing to pay for.
Or YouTube Red, right?
Yeah, YouTube Play or YouTube TV, and this. I mean, that's like, okay, great. You want to watch TV? Go if you have cable. There you go.
Yeah. But who's really got cable these days? I feel like everyone's going to streaming. It's just a fact.
It's like cable's the past at this point. Cable is gone unless you can't afford it. It's
Yeah, the TV I have right now is actually not a smart TV. So you know what I got? I got a Roku.
Oh, there you go.
And it was like $17. Yeah. And it's this tiny little box. Yeah. Give you a remote, tiny box, just plug in HDMI and you're done. You don't even have to plug it into an outlet. You just plug in through USB to your TV.
Yeah.
And it provides power. It's fantastic. Best investment I made last year, honestly, for the price. It was just amazing. I have access to basically every channel I can get, plus some that are exclusive to Roku. So, which, by the way, an honorable mention to AVOD. I want to list one of my honorable mentions before I get to number one on my list. And speaking of Roku channel, which is called AVOD, or Advertising Video on Demand, Tubi TV. Have you heard of Tubi?
No, actually.
Well, it's actually a really good place for independent film. And you can watch anything on their site for free. But there's ads. So there's a good number of ads, but it's probably my favorite free streaming service out there, besides YouTube, of course. If you don't count YouTube, Tubi TV is actually really good. I actually watch it occasionally because they just added some news channels on there, free to watch with no ads. So you can watch the live stream of your local news channels without ads for free. So it's like getting your antenna box right to your TV and watching like channel, I don't know, in LA I think channel 7 is KTLA, KTLA or something.
Yeah.
And it's like watching KTLA without all your commercials. It's insane. So I love it. But not as important as for movies. Movies are really where you can get the most value out of watching Tubi. So check it out. Yeah, it's pretty good. All right, number one. Ready for this? Can you guess what it is? Can you guess what my number one is?
Hulu?
No, that was number 5.
HBO.
HBO, you got it.
Yeah.
HBO Max. I don't have it, but I want it. And here's why. Exclusives. as with any other streaming service, exclusives are where it's at. On HBO Max, just to name a few, you got Game of Thrones, you got Westworld, which I want to watch, Friends, for people who love their old stuff. 90s, I love Friends. Friends is fantastic. If for other sitcoms, you got Big Bang Theory. You got Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I mean, man, you got all these shows that are like some of the best classics. You also, I'm just from looking at this list that I compiled here, looking at some classic films they have. They have Casablanca. They have Jaws. The Wizard of Oz. Man. They have a lot of classics. And you also got some other newer stuff. By the way, HBO Max is a great platform for brand new movies that have not been seen in the theaters yet. For example, they just released Wonder Woman 1984 simultaneously with the cinema. So you could have watched it in the theater, or you could watch it on HBO Max at the same time. It's revolutionary. So HBO Max is doing something right by releasing brand new movies on their streaming platform. It's really awesome. So, and for anime watchers, anime fans, the Studio Ghibli movies are on HBO Max. All of them. Wow. So that's a really big breakthrough in anime too, because Studio Ghibli was always only available on the DVDs, right? Mm. So now you have a place to watch all of the movies from Miyazaki. And yeah, man, all that stuff is just classic for anime watchers. So yeah, for those reasons, exclusives, price, overall content on both TV and movies, HBO Max is my number one. So there you have it. What do you think about that?
I think that's a valid reason to pick HBO.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that sounds perfect. That's just HBO and Disney. There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. And YouTube, I guess.
YouTube. I watch a lot more YouTube than anything else. Just something. They could really capitalize on YouTube, but I really hope that Google will not stop what they're doing with YouTube. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. And now for my other two honorable mentions. I'd like to mention something that I used to be subscribed to, but not anymore. And that's for anime. And it's called Funimation. Funimation is the primary U.S. distributor of, it's basically a distributor / studio in a way. They work with a lot of studios. They have a lot of exclusive anime that you can only find on Funimation. And it's a great service for anime, so just check it out. It's funny because a lot of people would probably default to Crunchyroll, right? Crunchyroll's great. They have a lot of good anime, but in my opinion, Funimations are better quality. So I see your flying around your room there. And my other honorable mention is MUBI. MUBI.
MUBI. Yeah.
MUBI. Have you heard of MUBI?
No.
It's interesting because this is the best streaming service for classic independent cinema. And I mean not just your cheap independent movies that you can find today, but like classic indies. Stuff that has never been seen before on any other platform. So you got stuff from all over the world. Stuff from Japan, from China, from Mexico, from France, from Germany. MUBI has like a great curated list of movies that you can only find on their service. And they're all by classic directors.
Wow.
It's really cool. And the price isn't that bad either. It might be like $10, $11, $12 at most. And the cool thing is you get access to one brand new movie every day. So the cool thing is they have a smaller selection than like Netflix and Hulu, but their business model is really interesting. So they cycle through their content every month by offering one new film a day, but also getting rid of a film every day.
That's
it's exclusive.
Netflix does too. Netflix does the same sort of the same thing. It's like at a point where people are not watching it as much, they'll start to go away, or even if it was famous, if it's still and everyone's watching, they'll still take it off to put something else on.
Yeah, but with Netflix, I feel like they're not as obvious about it. They're just like, oh, we're going to take this away now. Goodbye. And they're like, where did Titanic go? You know? That happened to me. Like, my dad and I wanted to watch Titanic. And next thing we know, it's gone. And we're like, we couldn't find it anywhere. I'm like, oh, dang it.
Oh, wait, I know where it went. I know where it went.
Where?
It sunk to the bottom of the ocean.
Oh, that was so bad but good.
Okay,
that was bad but good. Oh, man. Yeah. Anyway, Netflix is not really obvious about what they get rid of, but they are obvious about what they will add, which is okay.
Yeah.
They have like a list of movies that they're like, okay, we're going to add this next month, which is cool. But with MUBI, it's like, okay, you can clearly see when you first log in, okay, these movies are going away. These ones are going to have just appeared today. So you can clearly see, okay, this is what I might watch over my week, you know?
Yeah.
So.
At least there they prepare you. So then, you know, okay, I got to watch these films before it goes away.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty genius because like that's the way they keep subscribers, keep people watching. It's like, oh, you might miss out on some movies if you unsubscribe.
Exactly.
So, and they also have student pricing. Another thing I like about MUBI is if you're a college student, for those students listening to this, MUBI offers a really good price for students. It's like $6 or $7. And this is great for all this like really quality independent cinema you can't find anywhere else. I think it's worth it. So anyway, that's my big spiel about streaming services. Anything else you'd like to mention about streaming?
Oh, it's going to get better from here. From here on out.
Agreed. There's going to be so much more content that we can't catch up. It's already hard to catch up with everything as it is.
It's going to, what I see is what's going to happen is when, especially for Marvel, I think, or even Star Wars, either one of those two, or if something else comes up, they'll do the same thing. But they'll release a film, but then they'll put a show on. They'll put a show after the film up and show that and say, okay, you want to keep. It's like now it's going to be harder for people to keep them updated on what's going on in the story or the timeline that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so people who can't afford Disney Plus, they're going to be like, wait, what's going on? Because when the film comes out, they're going to reference Mandalorian, but then some people will know. Be like, what? So, but then that's going to be the thing is now they're going to do that for a timeline. So if you want to keep yourself updated on that, just ask a friend or get yourself the one of those services that require the timeline.
Right. Yeah. So yeah. Sharing streaming services was what got me through college. Honestly.
Yeah. See, that's actually another point I wanted to bring up is that if you can't afford it, split it with someone else. Pay for one thing, pay for the other.
Yep.
There you go. Problem solved.
Especially when you have a roommate. It's like the best thing ever. You know what I did in my last year of college is that I shared one of my roommates' Disney Plus account and then the other roommate's Netflix. So I'm like, okay, I can watch Tara's house with my roommate's Disney Netflix, then watch some Clone Wars and Rebels on my other roommate's Disney Plus. So yeah, it's so funny. We're all cool about it, like sharing streaming services.
But it makes everything cheaper for people. It makes it cheaper for people. Like, why? It's a no-brainer. If you have a close friend and you're willing to split it, there you go. Then it's obvious you want to get it if you can do that.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. All right, I think that about covers everything about what we wanted to talk about today. Thanks as always, Grant, for joining me.
Of course.
And we're going to keep you guys updated on all the latest geek stuff related to the film industry and just talk about movies. Talk about movies that you like, what we like. If you have any movies to suggest to us, please comment on the YouTube video or send an email to me, Zack at filmfrat.com. All right. Thanks as always, and we'll see you in the next Geek Week episode next month, end of February. Peace out.
That's all from this episode of the Film Fraternity Podcast. For more filmmaking tips and tricks you can use on your next project, visit www.filmfrat.com. That's FILMFRAT.com.